Hey, I'm Tobi Arayomi,
And I'm Tomi Arayomi.
and we are not on the table.
Not exactly. We're off the table.
We're off the table today. Today we are off the table discussing Asia hate crimes and woke media. But imagine a table. It's here. Do it now. What the heck are you doing?
I broke the chair.
Cue the music.
We all have a life.
No web, no bed. No ringy, no doozy, female, no female.
Hey guys, welcome back to On the Table with me, Tomi Arayomi.
And with me, Tobi
You can
Arayomi.
already see the powers in the house. We're breaking chairs because we ain't got no tables to break. But today, anyway, we are talking about the Asia hate crime.
Asia
Did
hate
you
crime.
know there is an Asia Lives Matter too?
Asia Lives Matter.
Asia
now
Lives
as
Matter.
well.
It's a new thing, but it's 2021. You know, we're in a hyper present where what wasn't true yesterday is now true today, and we're all forced to accept this kind of new culture war against white supremacists.
Correct. So this whole thing is it's a narrative. But again, this is the problem I find. People are playing squash when the game is tennis. There are narratives that are driving everything, but people are bouncing this ball off the wall.
Oh, I see. So
you know what I'm saying? They're playing at the wrong
playing
game.
the wrong game.
They exist within a narrative. And the gullible people on social media who don't understand the narratives that
Gullible.
are driving.
No,
A lot of
let me
gullible
say
people on
gullible.
social media. Not everyone's gullible.
let
Some
me-
people are.
That word for it. And you're right, some people are awake, some people are woke. I think the thing about social media is it's secondary media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's C-SPAN, there's parliamentary question time, which I consider primary media because you're actually watching it.
Live.
If you can afford to spend the hour for the question and answers, you're watching it. Then there's this kind of media lens. It's very dirty.
Secondary would be
which is
CNN,
secondary.
Fox,
CNN,
BBC,
MSNBC,
then tertiary.
Then tertiary is social media, the soundbite generation. I'm too lazy to watch the whole thing, so and I can't be bothered to watch the second thing. So just give me the spillover nonsense.
And tell me what to reshare.
No, give me the.
Tell me what to reshare.
No, give me the excretion. That's really what it is.
It is. It's the
It is.
poop.
Give me the excretion of the
No
main
nutrients.
thing. No nutrients, and I'm going to share it because that bit you're going to give me is going to outrage me.
It's gonna make me feel like I'm just as well. I'm right. I'm fair. I'm loving.
part of
I'm
the
kind.
movement of
and
collective responsibility.
exactly. And
to
I
take
abide.
care
Yeah.
of our hatred, and part of that is kind of a white guilt in many ways.
It's more than white guilt. It's social guilt. It's the fact that human beings do not like being outcasted. Psychological experiment after psychological experiment has been done to prove this. Human beings are herd animals. We do not like being outcast. We like to belong to a collective or a group. And we don't like as well troubling the norms of society. And what we don't know, okay, you're either of two minds. These are the two minds you're of. The world is fine and we're all good. Everything's going good. No one's controlling us. Conspiracy, it's all conjecture. You guys are crazy. Or you're of the mind that there are powers that be who are steering the course of humanity. And or you're of the mind that the powers that be steering the course of humanity, and I agree with them. And I'm fine with the direction they're steering us in. Or you're of the mind they're steering us, and I don't care where they're steering us to.
Right.
As long as I get to, do my silhouette challenge.
Come on,
As long as I get to twerk a cup on my butt.
Come on,
And flick it, because that's why my mama sent me to school.
Oh, come on.
You know, the social contract right now will announce children's books as offensive material, but lesbian acts on stage in public by Wappy Wap as virtue and righteous, and anybody who speaks against it is speaking against the feminist expression, and you have to see we are slowly being cooked. And the frog example is so good because they say if you take a frog, I don't know if this is true till this day, but it's a great example if it's true. You take a frog and you put the frog in hot water, the frog's jumping out. It knows it's in hot water. You put that frog in cool water and slowly heat it up with time. It does not know it's being cooked or boiled. We are being boiled in immorality. We're being slow cooked, and we don't know. We can't tell how far we come that we don't even blush at some of the things that are happening.
Okay, so let's
anymore.
read actually what happened. Let's give this some context. So people are like, some people might have not even got the tertiary news. So
Okay.
so let's give this some context. Basically, what happened: 8 dead in Atlanta spa shooting. Was it a spa though? Let's just okay. Atlanta spa shooting. Maybe it was. Let's pause on that. The man who police say went on a rampage.
Let me get my research
at 3 spas in the Atlanta area has been charged with 8 counts of murder in connection with the attacks. Right.
Okay.
The suspect in the spa attacks. Right. These are spa attacks. Has been charged with 8 counts of murder. 6 of the 8 victims were women of Asian descent. 6 out of 8 were Asian. Korean, actually, if you really want to get down to the rudiments of who they were Koreans. The other one was like a Hispanic, and I can't remember the last one. But it's sad that in this whole paper, you don't actually get to see what descent the other 2 were of.
Sure.
But anyway, the man who police say went on a rampage at 3 spas in the Atlanta area, killing 8 people, was charged on Wednesday with 8 counts of murder
what
in
news
connection
is this?
with the attacks. This is New York Times, as if I should be reading the NYT. The brazen shootings, which took the lives of 6 women of Asian descent, stirred considerable outrage and fear in the Asian American community. Investigators said they had not ruled out bias as a motivating factor, even as the suspect denied such racial animus once in custody.
The suspect himself.
Here is the thing. The suspect himself said that this had nothing to do with race.
Do you know
He
there's
was
a
simply
website, by the
going
way,
to
called
these
Unwoke Narrative? Have you seen it?
He was simply going to these spas. Let's call them what they were. Massage parlors.
Do you guys get this guy had a porn
This guy had a porn
He's
issue
been
and a mental
to
health
rehab because of his addiction to sex. He's gone for a massage, of which at these parlors, color me racist, at these parlors, the majority of them are of Asian descent.
Right, and somebody's going to come for us. Are you justifying this killing because they were massage parlors?
No.
You're not listening.
We're talking about the narrative.
We're talking about the
We're
narrative.
not talking about the injustice. The injustice is clear. This should not happen. A man shouldn't have gone and shot anybody or women or any human being. It's immoral. It's wrong. We are talking about the narrative that is being slammed down your throat to believe. And if you want to go ahead and believe it, you believe it, but hear the facts. Go for it.
Go for it. So these guys came in basically and started This guy came in basically and started shooting up the place. He told the police whilst in custody, they asked him emphatically, was this a race crime? He proceeded to state emphatically, this was not about race, this is about lust.
Yeah.
This is about my sexual addiction. I don't know what to do. And obviously akin to some serious mental health issues.
And it wasn't just Koreans. Now, 6 were Korean. I believe,
One was
according to the
Hispanic,
Korean government,
and
the other was Hispanic, and it was...
See, you can't find where the other ones come from. That's the problem,
It
right?
doesn't support the narrative.
Because it doesn't support the narrative. The Asian American community were not the only victims here. But when you see through the lens of intersectionality, and when you see through the lens of identity politics, all you are looking for to present the facts of your case is this man was white and did it to this Asian community. And then you're left with this kind of old type of America in your memory bank where people are still being lynched and they're still being hung on trees because the media is actively searching for this kind of divided class.
But it's also politically expedient.
Absolutely.
It's politically expedient, and the media are tools of politicians It is politically.
I don't know if they're tools anymore.
A lot of them are tools.
To call them the tool would be to assert.
Oh, bro.
No, to call them the tool would be to assert that they are the victim. The media is
No, they're not the victim.
No, but
they're
to say
making
they're
money.
the tool has a connotation that
They're
somehow
complicit.
they're the victim.
They're the
I don't
partner.
even know if they're complicit. I believe that we need to seriously start to analyze who is really running the country.
Okay.
Because whoever has the narrative is whoever's running the country. That's why they can turn on Pelosi. You don't think Pelosi fears the mainstream media? You don't think the Queen, even in the last speech we heard, that the Queen has to have dinner just to kind of soothe the mainstream media's appetite to look elsewhere, and to call Meghan Markle debacle the biggest scandal in the royal family for 85 years, completely overriding and gaslighting the Prince Andrew scandal involving pedophilia. That, by the way, is the scandal of the century. And so, but you're right, we're playing squash. Every time the media serves the ball, we follow the ping pongs around the wall and we don't serve back. All we end up serving back is this kind of shallow response, right? To the shallow tertiary news that we've heard, we serve back the shallow response by posting, "End Asian hate." We don't actually go to the facts of the case.
But do you know how far it's gone? Do you know how interesting it's gone, how far it's gone? If I can follow the rabbit here, and
Follow
you know, in crime, you follow the money. That's the rabbit. If I can follow the rabbit, we heard Biden's press secretary, I keep forgetting her name, but Biden's press secretary, you know, the one, ginger hair, I can't remember her name. That's not racist, is it? But anyway, I can't remember her name. But she came out, Jen Psaki, she comes out and she says that it's no surprise that this kind of thing has happened in the Asian community. Let's broad stroke them. Let's forget their career, because of the kind of inflammatory speech.
Rhetoric,
you know, she linked it to Trump saying the China virus. How you make that kind of spin?
No, but you have to understand that alluding and saying that the virus started in China kills Koreans.
Yes.
That's
point. Not racist, because Koreans and China, y'all look
same,
alike, right?
Yeah, that's what
y'all look alike.
They're the same colossal group of people. So it's just bizarre, and everybody's no. The thing is, I have Christian friends, I have pastoral friends who have not sat down
to research.
They're getting swept by the tidal wave of the media. And they see somebody else posting, and go, "Oh, that sounds like a really good idea." What? There's stuff.
Do you know the issue is then pastors, ministers, conservatives become useful idiots. And useful idiots, by this I mean, love cannot just be done. You know, when we're told in the Bible, love the Lord your God, we're not just told to love him with our heart, we're told to love him with our mind. There has to be a place to which you intellectually love. It's not all heart. It's not all compassion, heart-based compassion. There has to be mind-based compassion. It can't all be chemistry. There's got to be some maths that's involved in this as well to rightly judge how to do it. So the church and conservatives become useful idiots because this is a false form of compassion. We don't know the wood that's stoking this fire. We just see the fire, and then we go, well, yeah, compassion, Asian hate. And so we don't ourselves know the narrative, nor do we want to kind of appear to be against the sway of popular culture, especially because our churches now feel popular, and our message is popular, and our churches are filled with woke people who aren't really, they're not on fire
I
at all.
thought my pastoral friends would have learned from the Jussie Smollett mistake.
Oh, let's roll that, please. I think we need to roll that. I think people need reminded. People need to remember the Jussie Smollett case.
Roll the tape.
All right, we're going to move on to this. Never before seen video from the Jussie Smollett hate crime case shows what appears to be a noose around the Empire actor's neck. This video from a Chicago police body camera was taken inside Smollett's home in January, at the time when he told police he was attacked. It's part of nearly 1,200 files, including more than 90 hours of footage, all newly released by the department. Adriana Diaz has the evidence that police say proves that the attack was actually a hoax.
He is like a star. He works on the show Empire.
Police body camera video shows the moment officers first arrived at Jussie Smollett's apartment after the actor claimed he'd been attacked. Smollett still has what appears to be a noose around his neck.
Do you want to take it off or anything?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted y'all to see it.
Smollett told police he was assaulted by two masked men, yelling racist and homophobic slurs.
There's bleach on me. They poured bleach on me.
For more than 3 weeks, at least 24 detectives searched for the two men and investigated Smollett's claims. They eventually reached this conclusion.
Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process.
Police say Smollett paid brothers Abel and Ola Osendai to stage the attack because he was angry over his salary.
Oh, where we going?
Newly released videos show the brothers on their way to the scene of the attack.
So what's going on here? Might be an arrested or something.
And their arrests at Chicago's O'Hare Airport less than a month later. The brothers told police Smollett paid them to conduct the attack.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one.
Smollett, who's maintained his innocence, was arrested and later charged with 16 felony counts for lying to police, charges that were later dropped by the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, stirring up massive protests.
So, Jussie
And his Nigerian friends.
and his Nigerian friend. Okay, so here's the problem. When Jussie Smollett happened, I didn't post anything.
I didn't post. All the pastors, every pastor I know.
Listen,
And the head.
every pastor I knew
Yes.
was posting.
Basically, join my church, I'm
I
compassionate.
stand with
and
Jussie.
I'm woke.
I stand with Jussie. I stand with Jussie. And I'm like, this is the problem of where we find ourselves. We have lost discernment. I think it really reflects the lack of prayer life that our leaders presently have. That their source is no longer God. It's now totally Nigerian. And you can say the same thing about us if you want to. But for me, I feel like when I sit down with I see a post, right? This is what happens. Anytime I see a post, Asian hate, okay, let's go Jussie Smollett. I see it, and
The moment I saw Jussie Smollett, I was like,
no, my spirit does something. That something is called discernment. We call it, have a broad audience, but we in the Christian community call it discernment.
some may call it the gut feeling.
Gut feel. Let's call it the gut feeling.
Gut feeling that
Something doesn't feel right. We had top preachers, top celebrities, top everything. I stand with Jussie, I stand with Jussie, I stand with Jussie. Reactionary, right? And then when it came out, because, then you start to question, Chicago? Bro, what you doing in the morning in the middle of Chicago, cold Chicago, going to somewhere like, what was it, 2 a.m. in the morning?
And you're a celebrity. You could have ordered it in apparently.
Exactly. Nothing lined up. Nothing added up.
And the police who were looking at it were homophobic and racist or even
to
Western.
this day, we ain't got no apology from Jussie. And to this day, we have this kind of preacher class. And maybe, let me be sympathetic and maybe say, maybe we're just too busy. Just stop for a second. But
I don't think so.
My
I think
issue
we don't take
here's
God
my
seriously.
issue. The ones who criticize us for being too political, right? Stay out of politics. When something happens that politically leans in their bias or their racial bias or their ethnic bias or their gender bias, all of a sudden it's like, we got to be political again. For this moment, we can be political. Then let's get back to our pulpits on Sunday. It's the same thing.
You know what I think it is.
But it's the same thing with the case of the woman who was beat up in the UK and killed in London. I can't remember her name. The woman that just died recently, right?
Yeah.
The case of this woman that just died recently in the UK, and it was found it was a police officer that did it. Now, the story came out, right, that it was the police officer's girlfriend who lured the girl out, and then the police officer killed her, right? Why is this, therefore, just about the patriarchy? Why does the narrative have to spin to end male violence?
Yeah.
A man and a woman were complicit in the murder of this. But we're trying so hard.
And no one backtracks the story.
No one
retracts it because, again, I call Instagram, I call social media the emotional sphere or the gullible sphere. It's not intellectual, it's not questioning, it's It's the sheep
It's
that
not
go
critical
there.
thinking.
It's not critical thinking. It acts like it. It's the illusion of critical thinking. It's the illusion of critical thinking. And that's worse itself than critical thinking because no one's really thinking anymore. You've got an entire world of non-thinkers. They're just reactionary tweeting. And those stories don't then get retracted. So this is no longer...
Well, they do, but it's in small...
It's in some print somewhere that no one reads. It's always retracted in the primary.
Right.
But it's never retracted. Now it's hit the 80%. And you can relate it to the Pareto principle. 20% of people are responsible for your productivity. 80% of people are responsible for your time wasting. 80% of the world don't read the news.
Right.
They don't assess or critically analyze. And then they don't form their own independent decision. 8% of the world go, what does everybody think about this? And I remember watching a psychological experiment, my first ever psychology class. I don't know why I was in a psychology class, but I never studied it. But somehow I ended up in someone's psychology class in school. And in this psychology class, there were a bunch of people in a room, right? And they were all told, all these people were actors except one man. He was picked out of more. They said, we want to do a maths experiment, a maths test. They bring him into this room with all actors. And then they start going, what is 2 times 2? Everyone goes, 4. What is 6 times 4? I don't want to embarrass myself here.
20,
I think it's 20.
24.
I believe it is. I'm not trying to mess up.
Yeah.
5 times 3, 15. Keeps going. 5 times 5, 25. They keep going with all these to and fro. 6 times 5, 30. After a while, they say to him, all the actors, they say, change the answer. So this is what they did. And he's the only one.
Oh,
They go, 2 times 2, everyone goes, 6. And he goes, 4. And everyone acts normal. She's like, okay. And he's telling them, listen to it, this is 4. Yeah. The guy goes, then he goes, 6 times 3. Everyone goes, 19. And then it keeps going. The experiment keeps going. I wish we could find the video. But then after a while, he starts saying the wrong answers just to fit in.
Right.
This shows something that should scare every viewer online, everybody in the world. We are programmable. And the greatest way to program us is to fit us into a new society, shock us first into a state of helplessness, and then make us agree to a new social contract by putting it out there and getting the majority to side with it or make it look like the majority side with it. And then we're not involved in it. We're programmable. We want to fit in with the social norm. This is our big problem. So when we see this Asian thing, what do we all do? We're all the person going, yeah, who cares about the story? Everyone's
Some
feeling
people
it.
who
Everyone's
post it don't even
repost.
know the story. Some people who posted just think it was Chinese people.
Yeah.
Don't even know it was Koreans, and it had nothing to do with the China virus. But there's Kamala Harris sitting there just trying to connect the dots. This was the previous administration's. Now, are we ignoring? Here's the next question: are we ignoring that there is real issues of Asian hate crimes that go on in America?
No,
absolutely not. In fact, Asian
Black
hate crimes
crime,
were
Asian
going on
crime.
for as long as I was in school. Do you remember?
Remember.
I mean, if you want to call it Asian hate crimes,
remember it.
it's been going on for as long as I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
Asian hate crimes are just as everybody else's hate crimes. They're hateful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the problem becomes who's doing the hate.
Right.
Everybody knows in every community when you have the white community, the number one perpetrator of hate against the white community are other white people.
Correct.
The number one.
This is statistics.
This is
These
statistics.
are numbers. So
It's the
don't
same
be like,
thing.
I don't agree.
No,
I don't agree.
Somebody
These are
rebuffed me.
numbers.
Somebody rebuffed me when I said, "Well, why is it that African Americans contribute to the most crime of their own people in America? Why do they kill themselves?" And they said, "Well, because of proximity. The number one killer of black people are other black people because we're in proximity." So I'm like, okay, let's go with your argument. If black people notoriously kill blacks, white people notoriously kill white people, if we're going by that demographic, do you know Asian people aren't the number one killer of Asian people? Black people are. So then
statistics.
No,
you can
no.
argue, cry in the comments if you want.
Exactly. You can
Statistics.
decry
Go and do your
all you
research.
want about the narrative and about the spin, but you boil down to it, and actually the biggest perpetrator of hate crime against Asian minorities is black minorities. And so if that's the case, then when you're posting end hate crime against Asians, you can't be pointing at white supremacists because white supremacists aren't statistically the biggest antagonists of the Asian community. It's black people, it's African Americans.
Right.
But because here's the thing, like you rightly said, you can turn people into dull voting mules.
Dumb voting mules. That's exactly it.
When you can put them in these subclasses
Victim groups
that God did not create.
Exactly.
Let's just be clear. God didn't create these subclasses, these victim groups. Intersectionality did. And because some people don't even know what intersectionality is, but they're involved in the affirmative action. They're involved, deeply involved in the intersectionality. Look at the broad tarnish and then the sweeping generalization, Asian community, and then somehow combing that together so uniquely and making something fit that didn't fit with the Chinese virus that started in Wuhan, China, make it fit Koreans and a Spanish person.
And then look at how Biden's now dodging a ball, in a way. Look what he's like, look over here, guys, instead of look at the real issue. The issue is Russia and Putin. Russia and Putin is not the biggest threat to the world.
Absolutely.
Right now, while people are doing the silhouette challenge, twerking with cups on their butts, and doing all kinds of the next challenges online, because that's how people are being pacified and stupefied. It's the entertainment culture. Today, I can't get a message to people without entertaining them. First, we've got to do a little flip, a little dance, a little jig. It's like, message, please hear it. Today, we can't get that to people because they just want to be entertained. They're on TikTok doing just dumb stuff, and it's fun. I enjoy it. Entertainment is a part of the human value, but it shouldn't be everything.
Right.
And the whole world is being stupefied by entertainment. And right now, China's taking over the sea dominance at the moment. They're building infrastructure in every single nation, including, you want to talk about Black Lives Matter? Go to Africa. And build infrastructure.
Go to Malawi. Go to Zimbabwe. Go to all of these places and you will see the economic colonialization of Africa.
And we're missing it. Fighting in America. When colonialization has ended, and colonialization is happening right now. As we speak in Kenya, as we speak in Nigeria, these people are building infrastructure and indebting nations to China.
Absolutely.
And you are fighting such a small, fickle, stupid fight. I think we're bored. I really do. Too much peace has made us mad.
But let's talk
it's like peace is a real test.
But let's talk about this now. Because in my humble opinion, and I had an amazing interview with Johnny Enlow, and I asked him a question which I had the same answer, but I didn't have the same workaround. I said, if you sat down with God, and he opened up a picture of the 7 mountains to you, and he said, and he asked you, which one do you think is the most important mountain of the hour to take? Which one would it be? And he said, Tomi, unquestionably the medium mountain. I said, why? He said, think about it. Children of Israel were getting ready to cross over into the promised land, and some people brought back bad reporting. That's when it hit me. No, stand up. Seriously, let's all stand up. Let's stand up too.
Is there a national anthem we can sing to Johnny Enlow?
Let's sing a 7 mountain one. Let's make them out.
Oh, 7 mountain springs to Johnny Enlow's preach. Oh, what a message. I'll bring my offering.
We'll finish that later.
Later, we'll write that.
We'll write that, and we'll send it to him too.
And then we'll send it. We'll put it.
He ain't gonna think we crazy or nothing. But that was so powerful, right? And he said this: it wasn't that they brought back an untrue report. It's just it wasn't what God said.
About to go to church right here.
It wasn't what God said, and so therefore it's fake news. And that fake news had spiritual ramifications. It set them back 40 years. Bad reporting set them back. Oh. Did you slap me?
I'm sorry. That just made me want to go home and slap my mama. That was powerful.
You just me. Anyway, check out Johnny Ember interview. It's going to be epic.
Oh, have you done it?
Yeah,
Where was my invite?
it's going live next week.
Where was my
It
invite?
wasn't an OTT thing.
I feel it's rejected.
Sorry. But you get what I'm trying to say. Just think about this. 40 years back.
I
Bad
want to
news.
slap you.
Fake news. But just think about what we're doing right now.
Think about
Think
this.
about what the...
A report. No, we need to
Okay,
stop.
let's see that. Sorry, let's
You
see
need
that.
to slap. Yeah.
Let's see Laco. Let's see Laco.
Think about. But what are we gonna do after this stuff?
What do you mean?
I hear. See, I hear this. Are they hearing?
Are you hearing, bro? But I don't think you are. You know, you're saying...
Oh, you
amen.
think we're not playing a big enough game on OTT too?
No, I'm saying like...
We need to play a bigger
I'm saying,
game.
no, you're a business mogul, right?
Yeah, I got to be careful.
No,
see,
you-
you can do crazy
No,
things. You can do crazy. You can come for community. This, that.
Listen,
I'm still. I got to be
you're a business
Esther in
mogul.
some way still.
You big money. That's all I'm saying. You big money.
Okay, so what you saying?
No,
bro?
I'm saying you
Talk.
big money. I'm going to do a business deal right here on the table with you.
Let's
Here's
talk.
my problem,
Let's talk
right?
business.
We got people like you, the big money, right?
Stop business.
No, look at you. You got people like you, the big money. You got your Rolex on. Look, humble man like me. Humble, humility.
Show your shoe.
No. Okay, just look.
That's
Just
what
look
I
up.
thought.
Look up for a second. You got a big man like you. Look at Rolly. Look at life. Living like nice clothes, everything. Yeah. Church comes along. People like you, not you because you're different, but people like you.
I'm like, what's
You
going on?
sow to the bigger building. You get the bigger auditorium. And then here's people like me, and we're like, let's build media. Let's change it. We're renting spaces in London right now that we should be buying £4,000 a month.
You pay that?
Yeah, and that's just our rent. That's our rent.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's passionate people who love Rig Nation and love OTT and what we do that are just like, let's keep the lights on. Let's keep. But bro, I'm out here like we could stab the right eye of the devil right now. Because, and then he said this amazing thing, right? He said this final amazing thing. He said, Tomi, he said, why did they take the head off of Goliath? It wasn't his muscle that made him mighty. It was his voice. He was a giant using his voice as a media voice to taunt Israel into silence. So David was obligated to aim for the head to take it down because it's the taunts that are going out from the mainstream media giants. But it's the Davids. It's the challengers that God is raising up right now who are going to deal. Oh boy, you got me preaching I'm on the wrong channel to be preaching. But it's them that are going to deal with this. It's them that are going to change this. Man, I posted it on my Instagram expecting the church to shout hallelujah, this is better. No.
Nothing.
It was kututum. I was like, bro, we can take it. No, it's not time for the church to wake up. Stay asleep. I don't know. Do you? It is, people say it's time for the church to wake up. It's not time for the church to wake up. Some people need to stay asleep. We just need 300. We don't need
I'm
everybody.
gonna slap you again.
We don't need everybody.
Lollipop.
Lollipop. You ain't said that in a while.
Can you get me a T-shirt that says lollipop?
I
I need a lollipop.
We need to make
Lollipop.
merch. We need to make merch. But
That's tongue. No, you need to speak this tongue properly.
Lollipop.
Lollipop.
Wow.
Lollipop che domo. Lollistic pop.
Amen.
Interpret it for us.
But the challenge that we find ourselves in today is we have a whole swath of people who want to get back to their churches.
And they're offended. Let me tell you something as well. They're offended because pioneers aren't calling them. Pastors are, because pastors want their churches to get back to them. So how you doing? How's your mum? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Oh, you had a COVID scare. Okay, mm-hmm. And how's everything going? Good. Pastors want the church back together. But the pioneers, they're happy right now.
Right.
You know, when the Church of Jerusalem, it was in peace, so God made persecution rise.
Right.
When Saul came, boy, they scattered and the gospel spread. We're like, when's quarantine gonna end? We've been quarantined. We've been in quarantine for a long time. And there's a kingdom awakening, but the church is persecuting it. I've noticed there's a kingdom awakening, but the bound child is accusing
The bondwoman.
The bondwoman is accusing the free woman. And the kingdom is here going, let's take this, let's do this. And it's wearing a beanie cap and shirt. It looks like Babylon.
It's a Bible study.
It's a Bible study. It looked like Babylon, dressed like Babylon, while the church is commenting on, why he got cane rolled up? Why his hair like that? Why has he got locks? Why is he wearing a Rolex? Oh my goodness, do you know Gucci's he was gay? Do you know this is that? Oh no, why are you doing that? What? While Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are taking the names of Babylonian gods, they are calling themselves. Imagine calling yourself Moloch. Imagine calling yourself Jezebel. They are taking not concept the son's praise and expecting praise to get a job on BBC. Oh, Shekinah glory.
I'm telling you, it's that Esther principle. Please don't call yourself Hadassah. You're going to give this thing away.
We need covert operatives.
This is the time for a seat at the table. But this is my challenge, right? It's my challenge to everybody.
My bones are shaking.
But this is my challenge. We have this lying fake news. And all we're doing is talking about how fake the fake news is, instead of realizing that the presence of the fake points to the existence of the authentic.
That's what I was telling you. There's a site that's come up, a new site. You might want to look at it. I wish I came up with it. It's called unwokenarrative.com. What genius. Hey, look, so whatever you hear there, just go on unwokenarrative.com, have a look.
And they'll tell you
what's really going on. Without the woke lens. It's the woke lens that's disrupting the story and the narrative. And we're being manipulated, and we're complicit in our manipulation. Talk to us about this child. I want to show us a picture of how far wokeism, not it's coming, how far it's gone. The father.
So there's this father.
Let's watch the video. Can we watch it together?
Yeah.
Because here I am sitting there as a parent watching a perfectly healthy child be destroyed. And there's nothing I can do but sit on the sideline and, according to Justice Bowden at the time, cheer it on. I could only affirm or get thrown in jail.
For the past 11 months, Canadian father Robert Hoogland's now 15-year-old daughter has been receiving testosterone injections by court order. The process began in late February of last year when Justice Bowden of the British Columbia Supreme Court ruled that the then 14-year-old girl should be medically transitioned to a boy regardless of the wishes of either of her parents. While the girl's mother was willing to cooperate, her father was distraught.
This will not change her DNA. She will not become a boy. It can lead to increased heart disease and other risks of that nature, different types of cancers. Because they're going to be stopping her puberty, her bone density will stop right where it is. And I kept saying, no, this is not going to happen. I'm not consenting.
According to the courts, however, Rob's consent wasn't relevant. In fact, Justice Bowden went one step further, declaring that Rob and his wife had to affirm their daughter's new gender identity. Rob was told that if he tried to dissuade his daughter or referred to her as a girl, he would be considered guilty of family violence. The night of the ruling, Rob granted an interview to The Federalist, lamenting the state-sponsored transition of his mentally vulnerable daughter. He also pointed out that his daughter was biologically a girl and would simply have her health impaired by high-dosage testosterone. The interview infuriated the BC Supreme Court. A few weeks later, Justice Francesca Mazzari convicted Rob of family violence for using female pronouns.
Family violence for using female pronouns.
Do you see where it's going? So now where it is. This
now.
is where it is.
But this is the danger.
Once it happens in one country, this is the experiment for others.
But this is the danger of media. Media is the exaggerating mountain. The thing about media is something can happen that's so remote, but if you can conflate that behind a landscape and a backdrop, I can incite everybody. If you can make A equal B, you can incite everybody. If you have a product, let me tell you what the product is. If you have a product that is Black Lives Matter, and then you have a incident that involves a black woman, that recently a black woman was shot by a police officer, even though she opened fire first on the police officer. But if you can somehow find a way to make those two narratives fit, you have an equalizer that you can sell this product back to the consumers on social media, and they'll lick it up regardless of the facts, regardless of the
And we have to
facts.
think in the mind of a news media owner, a corporate owner. Their job is to get as much money as possible. This is a business. At the end of the day, what grabs the most money? Fear and hysteria grabs money. CNN's ratings plummeted when Trump left office. He was their bread and butter.
Yeah.
That's why they were hysterical with him. That's why Acosta stands up, because you'll now get book deals and various things for inciting him more and dragging more out of him. Now this is gone. The ratings have dropped. No one really watches the new press hour with the new press secretary. It's all about money. And if it's money driven, then you have to see the psychosis. Okay, so we hear this news information. Now he's in the room with his producers and he says, okay, man shoots up this and that, but what's going to make the most money? Right now, what's popular in culture is race and women and all this stuff. We need to validate their experiences. They're going to buy the papers. It's going to give us more ratings. So what do? Let's make it about Asians. Let's do this. We'll promulgate it. Watch the dumb people. We can make them think the way we want them to think. And they go ahead and create this narrative. They pump it in people's minds and people believe it. There's something else that came out, I think it was today. Misogyny is now recognized as a hate crime.
Right.
That came out today. Misogyny is recognized as a hate crime. And I saw this first on social media, and then I had to go and look, is this really a thing? The Yorkshire Police announced misogyny 4 days ago. Misogyny is now recognized as a hate crime. Can someone please define for me misogyny?
Right.
Like, define it. I'm going to go for a dictionary definition here of misogyny, because dislike or contempt for ingrained prejudice against women. Okay? So just like it's now like racist to call us niggas, or the N-word, some kind of implied. Now remember, now our world, if you even imply racism, you don't even have to be racist. You can even just imply, like, or in my lived experience, I can interpret you as being racist. Misogyny could be, hey love, why don't you go through the door first? How dare, we've seen women online triggered by being called love or darling, sweetheart, or here's the, and I'm sure people in the comments, I hate being called love. Well done. You know, what else do you want to be called? Stupid, an idiot, or whatever. These were terms of endearment. We used to teach men to be gentlemen. We used to teach men to open the door. We used to teach men, but now we're taught these were social constructs. And these are now male, toxic masculinity. All these new words are being created to defy thousands of years of biological and natural development. And dare I say, even if we sway society this way, naturally society will move back to our nature. But like we rightly said, I believe in the last call, the biggest issue of leftists, of left-wingism, is God. It's the biggest problem they can't get away from. The fact that we're created, the fact that we have a purpose. And so disrupt all of that and bring a scientific worldview, and then bring a pseudo-scientific worldview that suits your political biases as well. Get rid of the idea that we were made, created. Then conservatives look like dogmatic idiots who have no idea of what the real world is. And then you create a wokeism, which is the religion of this new scientific movement. It's our version of revelation. It's the idea that I can see the moral fabric whilst denying the moral fabric. Because to believe in the existence of a moral fabric, that means you believe that there's an objective truth, or there is some kind of creation. So first of all, we deny objectivity. So we deny the fact that there is moral absolutes in the world, like don't murder, don't steal, things that we generally used to agree with. We deny the moral objectivity. Then we say doing hate crime against women is wrong. So we've made a subjectivity to it. Now, to say it's wrong, is it absolutely wrong? And is it wrong everywhere? Because then you just denied objective truth to create objective truth. But you created an objective truth. This is the issue. You created an objective truth where you are God.
Right.
That's the difference.
Because at the end of the day, you have to be the arbiter of what like you said, what is misogyny.
Right.
That's up to the arbiter of that hate speech law to define where the burden of proof is to prove that said comment was misogynistic or just being a jerk.
And then we all have to be re-educated along the new lines of what, dare I say, we're going to see curriculums, I'm sure, in school.
A bigger problem becomes, what about misogyny of women against men? Because if you purely focus on the misogyny of men towards women, and you don't then reflect that back and say, well, can there be female misogyny? Can there be female?
It won't exist.
Can females rape men? We've seen those things happen in schools.
Yes.
Teachers in their 30s raping boys who are 12 years old. You know, but then if you don't create the flip side, what you end up having is no more justice, because justice has to be fair and balanced. It has to be equal and opposite.
It won't
on both
exist.
sides.
It won't exist. And let me tell you why it won't exist, because we see the same thing in the race issue. We saw black people complaining against segregation, and then when they get their justice time, they created segregation. Excuse me, this is a black-only space. You need to leave. This is not for you. Excuse me, what you're doing is cultural appropriation. This belongs to us, not to you. So in overcoming an injustice, this is the problem of justice in the hands of victims. As long as that victim isn't healed, isn't together, justice will become revenge, and you'll give them a tool. Call it that, at least. I don't mind if you at least just say, look, we're not here for justice. We're not here for equity and fairness. We are here to get our own back. We're here for revenge, and we want our reparations. We want a dig up of everything you've done. There is nothing in history to suggest that if you give people reparations for things that in the past, especially in terms of financial remuneration, you give them reparations as opposed to creating equal opportunities. There's nothing to suggest that this leaves this group better. Yet I see, even in America...
In fact, in most cases, it leaves them worse.
Worse. I see, even in America, people happy and celebrating because the government just announced a new stimulus bill of a ridiculous amount of money. And think about these political children. Think about how immature and bratish and babyish they are, because no one is being responsible for the level of national debt. You're talking national debt in terms...
Just kicking a can.
It would be a pile that would reach up to the moon, quite literally. How do you believe it's sustainable? Biden has protected the White House with a wall for a reason, because I think he's about to announce some very unpopular policies. He's already begun. Look at the Mexican border crisis. Do you know they're using military-grade tanks and guns? The cartels are fighting on the border right now, but they're letting people through.
And the question becomes, why is the National Guard not on the border? Why are they protecting?
Why are they protecting the White House? Think about that. Think about and then he's talking now about raising taxes, increasing taxes. Who is going to foot this bill of this stimulus check that's coming out? And why is he diverting attention away from Russia, away from China to Russia?
Is if the money to fund the government is being printed, then why pay taxes? Where is taxpayer?
The rabbit hole is so deep.
Where is taxpayer money actually going?
The rabbit hole is so deep because most people who are watching don't even understand the Federal Reserve. They don't even understand that their money's being printed and it's a scam.
And it's affecting the globe because the dollar is the reserve currency of the world. So
not for much longer. If they keep going this way, not for much longer. We could see a yen takeover if they keep going the way that the world is going. We could see Chinese currency start to, and we can't fathom a world like that. But I wonder if it's purposely being steered. We look at Biden; he's moving attention away from China to Russia. He's pinning the tail on the wrong donkey.
I think it's a deliberate.
It's deliberate because him and his family have benefited for so many years and are still benefiting from the Chinese government.
And both Republicans and Democrats are benefiting from that. And
America doesn't realize they got an enemy of state in the White House.
Right.
They don't know that. They're sleepwalking through this period because, again, they've learned helplessness. This is our daddy government. We're just small children. It's their responsibility to take care of us. It is not the government's responsibility to take care of you. It's their responsibility to provide an environment in which it's possible for you to self-determine. It's their responsibility to provide the kind of freedoms it takes for you to continue your life in discourse, continue your life in freedom, continue your life in the pursuit of what you deem to be happiness. It's their responsibility to provide a free and fair society. But as long as governments are bought by interest groups, and they really are, Biden is not a president. He's a puppet. Trump was the only thing they did not have a puppet with. This is the truth. Biden is a complete puppet. His entire system is funded by woke activists who want things to be steered a certain way, and it's not being intellectually, intelligently led. Think about the U.S. Army. The big issues in the U.S. Army right now with old machines, old guns, all this. What does Biden come up with an idea of? Pregnancy bulletproof vests, maternity bodysuits for female vets. When was the last time you saw a pregnant vet running across?
Be careful, misogyny.
See, that's going to be a crime.
Big crime.
But see, we're defying common sense completely.
Right.
In the world we're trying to build, and I'm honestly
we can scream about that till we're blue in the face. My challenge to our viewers.
But isn't that our job? Raise the alarm, scream to your blue in the face. If they
the
don't
alarm,
do anything, at least there's no blood on our hands.
That's our
We've said
Watchmen
something.
challenge, but our apostolic responsibility.
Gosh,
I feel like we have a.
Is it our responsibility?
I feel like.
Or is it the church's responsibility?
I feel like.
Wasn't it our job to raise the people who do it to impact?
You and I have a builder's responsibility.
I'm
not even joking. Like forget. Listen, we have a builder's responsibility to the media. We have a builder. I'm not saying to YouTube. Tomorrow we can be gone from YouTube. You saw the mainstream media come after me for the thing. I could have been YouTube. I mean, thank God they didn't wipe us out. We could have been decimated. 7,000 subscribers gone. Like, what are we building? We're building on ground that is full of sand. And they own it. That's the problem. They own it. They have the power. They are not social media engines. They're media editors.
They're the landlord.
They're editorial boards because they are editing content. But they have an entitlement to do so because our government and the American government, both left and right, is enabling a too big to fail monopoly to become tyrannical. And these are young kids, you and I are quite young. They're our age. And you've given them 2 billion people. You've given them more people than any nation in the world to rule over.
Yeah.
You know, Zuckerberg is a monarch. He's a reigning, ruling monarch. And so the question now becomes, how do we take back the truth?
Kingship. See, where Johnny Enlow would say the most important mountain is media, I would say the most important mountain is business and economics.
I would say that, and this is why I'm talking to you, because I'm the media twin, you're the business twin. I'm coming to you.
You do business in media, I do some media in business. You do business in media.
I do media.
I do media in my business.
No, you do business.
You do business in media.
You do business through media.
I do media in my business.
You do business through media.
No. Media is in my business. It's not my business, though.
Your business
is media.
Yeah, and your business is business.
But media is in my business. I'm a content media.
Media is your tool.
Yeah.
Through which you
deliver
business.
Aside. Yeah.
Business is our tool through which we deliver media.
No.
You use media to deliver business.
Guys, comment below.
You use media to deliver business. I use business to deliver media.
I think you do business in media. I do media in my business. What do you guys think?
I don't even know. I don't think it matters. But what I'm saying is, I'm the media twin, you're the business twin. Emphasis.
Yes.
Imagine what would happen.
A lot could happen. But imagine also what would happen. Imagine what would happen if the church stopped being partners and they start becoming business partners. Imagine what would happen. Not church. Let's not use church. Church is still. No, but you know, this is my thing. This is my thing. What did God render from Egypt? All their gold, all their money.
That's too long.
We lack financial power. Even if
You
I
have
said
financial power.
I have somehow, but let me tell you, it's not enough for what we want to do.
I know.
Let me tell you, I've been building.
know.
My company has like maybe 10 companies inside it right now.
about-
Hear this. Even to purchase one aspect of our company, you're talking like this was £50,000 every day. All £1 is 50K.
I get you.
Do you know what I'm saying? Every day.
Because
that will be 50,000. This will be 100,000. That will, and it's like you realize money is not. We need more.
Of course.
What we're talking about requires at least minimum 1 billion, and even then it's too small. What we're talking about, and I haven't got a billion yet. I'm coming.
I mean,
but I'm telling you, what's required, and what the church hasn't yet seen as well, is this takes money. You can't be coming on OTT Twins or Rig and giving £5 and thinking we're going to shake
overheads average. Let me.
Is that per annum?
That's per year.
Oh, that's
compared to business.
It's still a lot. So you're looking at a quarter of a million.
Quarter of a million just to run
a year.
Just to run Rig Nation.
That's decent.
Over a quarter of a million just to run Rig Nation.
Wow, charities be
but
doing bits.
but that's us being humble. That's us managing. We are scraping. Not scraping. That's a lie. But God is really blessing us. But I'm telling you, imagine if we could make movies.
That's what I mean.
Short stories.
A movie costs millions.
Movies cost money.
And we got ideas, we got visions.
But we got believers out here like, but where's the Bible study at? And it's like, you ain't being discipled by Bible study.
You're being discipled by
your
needs.
Bible. You prefer to watch Netflix and read your Bible. Let's be real now. I mean, the idea of reading the Bible is getting kind of old. People have audiobooks now to listen to the Bible. Yeah. I mean, I can't remember the last time I picked up a hard book, and some people think I backslid for that.
Yeah.
I play the Bible in my ears. I listen to it. I find content that speaks to it. Like, imagine if the Word just remained a book and it never became flesh and dwelt among us.
It never became a movie. Oh, man.
It never became anything but a book. And we kept that book, and we kept that book. We're like, we're the best selling. Our book is the best selling. Okay, why can't we move? Why can't the Word become tech? Why can't the Word become apps? Why can't the Word become AI? Why can't the Word become media? Why can't the Word become entertainment?
Do you know why? Because we're waiting. Church is waiting for a revival. That's what we're waiting for.
We're in revival.
We're waiting for the next revival. But let me tell you what revival is. Revival is to bring something alive. And when it's alive, what do you do now you're alive?
That's my question.
Now you're alive.
Now, I asked the same question. I said this in the teaching I did just yesterday.
Apart from revival, why do we keep dying? Why are we...
That's the question.
God's got children to keep dying.
Why do we keep dying? They need another revival.
Why do you keep dying?
They need another revival. Why do you keep dying?
How many times you gonna die? That's just only raised one time.
Okay, let's swim this on because we've been talking for a hot while. Okay.
Real.
I believe the biggest challenge we are facing today, the biggest existential crisis that we face today is media.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's a push to end the democratization of media. And I believe we need to keep the media democratic. We need to have opposing voices. I will never cancel my enemies. I will never cancel darkness.
Yeah.
I won't, because we need in the marketplace the wheat and the chaff to grow together. The chaff needs to provoke the wheat to rise up and represent the authentic. And so I think, we can't keep screaming fake news and not represent true news.
Correct. And it has to be done savvy. We can't come out with
all this.
Conservatives seem to lack creativity. That's one of the things I've seen with conservatives. We're so busy conserving that we're not creative. Till this day. I go to churches. Some pastors are still wearing sandals.
Till this day,
I'm seeing tallis. To this day, I'm seeing horn. Till now, you're still seeing angels in robe. They were in robes because that was the day. Do you see
what they wearing now?
Do you know what I'm saying? Till this day, you see angels wearing robes. That was the day. That's Jesus. If Jesus came today, he'd be wearing sneakers. If he came then, he'd be wearing. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, but some people be like, they wearing robes.
But do you know why they're still wearing? I'm telling you,
they wearing robes in heaven, though.
Heaven's far. No.
Heaven is supreme.
That was my African dirty.
Heaven is supreme and superior. And somehow we think we're the modern. Heaven is ultimate modernization.
It's advanced. God was speaking. See, the way heaven speaks, this is what we mean. Heaven speaks to the culture it's talking to. Heaven already knew about Amazon. Heaven already knew about iPhone. Let me tell you what happened, because I believe all these names are prophetic. Gates, Jobs, Trump. These names have something to them. And I've been feeling this for a while. This is my feeling about church. Satan does not block our prayers. People go, every time I pray, it feels like you're sitting. It's not. Every prayer you make as a believer goes to God. I do not believe Satan wants to block your prayer at all. Let me tell you why. Because Satan needs the contraband that your prayer provides. He needs to steal. He don't create nothing. When Daniel is praying, God said, from day one, you prayed. I heard you. The issue wasn't the prayer going out. The issue was with the answer coming back, because Satan's job, he can't bring you resources. He needs you, the righteous child of God, to go to the bank account.
Tired of praying. So when your prayer was
first of all, he needs
it
right while it's coming back. He needs to come stand away and steal that thing. Hold your angels in custom. Hold your angels in custom and take the thing. I believe it was the church that broke through and bought iPhone and broke through and bought this. And these things come into the atmosphere. But we are so busy building sandals and tallits and prayer shawls and getting you holy oil from our bathroom and telling you it came from Jerusalem. We're so busy doing all of that, right? That what the enemy does is he takes all these things, and we are so busy in our old language. Old. Bro, it's so old. Like the way I hear Christian jokes and my eyes roll now. I get them in my DMs as well. Like people talking about my son, he's making noise on the house. No, he's just breaking with the anointing. I'm like, it's not funny. Your joke needs to be nuanced and creative. It's so old. We're so old in our wineskin that when God wants to bring technology to us, we've missed it. And now someone's going to come on and say, right, that's it. Let's create our own mobile phone company. You created the world's on virtual reality. We're just catching up. Yeah, when we pray, if our minds don't upgrade and if we don't access, how did God show up first? He didn't show up as a conservative. He showed up as a creative. That's a t-shirt right there.
That's a t-shirt.
God did not show up as a conservative.
He showed up
as a creative.
Showed up as a creator, and he created it.
And then he made us in his image. In the image of what? The creator God. Where's our creativity God? That's my conclusion.
We're not creating, we're conserving.
We're conserving, not creating.
Okay, guys, let us know what you think in the comments box. Remember to comment, rate, subscribe, share. If you want to support Invasion Media, we're not allowed to ask you to become shareholders. But just throwing it out there in case you were thinking about it, send an email through. Or you want to sponsor, power the program, you want to be on the little ad section, and you got a product that you want to power our programs through, let us know. We'll see you next time. From me, Tomi Arayomi.
And for me, Tobi Arayomi.
You've been watching On
the Table.
We all have a life.
No west, no bed. No reading, no duty. Female, no female.